And I believe we are live. Now, we don't have the normal intro because that lives on Dallas's computer. But today we have Mr. Tanner from Vintage Adventure Drives. He was
Yeah.
gracious enough to come in and do the live with us. And we're going to do all this stuff here together. So, and it's like I said, it's a live show. So if he says something wrong, he gets a little nervous. Just it is what it is. It's a live show.
Oh, yeah. You ought to hear
So
how much I have to cut out in editing.
That's right. That's the best part about it. It is what it is. And if you
Yeah.
give that disclosure right off the bat, it's a live show. It is what it is. So, all righty. So we're going to go right on down, and this time I'm going to go and greet the guests as we go in there.
All
So
right.
here's what we got. So Colleen Tebow is here, and she's telling us to go check out WAF Racing. So go check that out. He's the one that brings us to this, so that way we don't have to have any commercials. It's a free show for you guys. So they're the one. He's the one that basically makes this happen. And I got a commercial later on at maybe 8 o'clock. We'll run a commercial.
Ooh,
Yeah, right. We got Mr. Dr. Go, Miss Catchy from Down Under,
man.
Fab Race Mod Repeat. There's me, Slight Daily Garage. What's up, suckers? Oh, here's a new name. I haven't seen this one before. Lumpy Y5B. Thank you for showing up. And then Catchy. So with that, I was actually just talking to Tanner about what he's got going on in his world, and then we'll kind of wrap back and forth with that. Oh, and Mr. Dylan Levi just showed up here. So how's it
What's
going,
up,
Mr.
Dylan?
Levi? So what you got going? You actually were telling me about something that you're going to be plumbing here soon. What you got?
Yeah, so, most of y'all are going to know about that scamp that I got going on, one that I've been building, already messing up my words. The one I've been building as a race car that I
Yeah.
plan to take to No Name Nationals this year. I had it running the other day and walked off to go talk to the girlfriend, turned around, and it was dumping fuel all over the ground. So it's time that I replumb the entire thing front to back for the fuel system.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I've had to do that like 2 times to the Cookie Monster because sometimes it just every 10 years those lines just fall apart. It seems like even when I had like the Earls lines, after
Hmm.
10 years, it just. I remember one time I went out there to. It was just it was fine in like November, and then February came around. This was in California, and I went to put fuel in it, and literally the fuel line, the whole length of the fuel line was just dripping fuel, and it was yeah, it was something else. So
Yeah, I know how that is.
James jumped in here from SSR Performance. What's going on? We got Mr. fucking Racer here. Good evening, folks. And Tanner, look at you're a
What's up,
celebrity
Brian?
now.
Well, I learned that I was pretty early on.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, I've been doing this like 30 shorts in 30 days thing, and I've been watching some of your shorts, and I'm not sure if it was yours or on your girlfriend's channel, but she's actually got good taste because she says that your Roadrunner or the Satellite is one of her favorite cars, and that was the very first car I went over 100 miles an hour in. Was basically a 71, 72 Satellite, just like that.
So she's sitting right over here. So she smiled when you said that.
Oh yeah, dude, you got good taste because I was laughing because I was like, oh man, I remember I'm going to go in the Wayback Machine here, but it was 1980. Oh, I think it was like 83 or 84. So those cars were still relatively only 10 years old. So it was
Mhm.
like it was still there, and doing 100 miles an hour back then was like something, right?
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so I remember it. I was like 8 years old, and it was like it was something else, man. It scared me. Dr. Go jumped in here. And yes, Boss Barn 429 is greetings to all usual suspects. Awesome. Yes, I agree. And Levi is in here currently working on a Triple Crown heifer fuel system. So there you go. Um, Levi's working on the exact same thing that you're doing, man.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, and Mr. Wheelie King 71. Gentlemen, I finally got my DLC lifters on order, Professor P. Let the masses know they are in stock. Yes, in fact, I
Nice.
know. I actually saw those. I think it was 2 weeks ago. Maybe it was last week. I made a mention that I had seen them come in, and they were actually in QC right now, going through quality control. And that was kind of like a little insider thing. I actually kind of got a little. Hey, you should be saying that kind of stuff, but I'm telling you, yeah, I did see them come in, and they were in QC, so lots of orders were going to be getting filled up.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh yes, yeah. Tell her she's doing great on her channel, and congratulations on her 500 subs. Exactly. I want to say congratulations because she, I love to watch those 500s that John puts on. I just happened to miss hers, and I was really bummed because I get into that because it's actually kind of like exciting because I remember when I hit my 500, I feel that again.
So it was kind of a cool experience because John Wilburn had actually texted me a screenshot of the text messages he was sending her. Yeah, I was just dying laughing. She had no idea who was texting her. She thought it was an automated thing.
She's coming around. Congratulations.
He made it look like a scam. And I replied, "Stop," in all caps.
Yeah, it was CBS Auto Insurance or something along those lines.
Yeah, complete bullshit.
Complete BS, he said.
Oh.
Yeah, that's funny. I actually have something here, and there's a few people in here. Any call outs? I think I might have one here. Don't you have a slant 6 that you're bringing to No Name Nationals?
It depends on what exactly we want to do. That it might come, it might not.
Okay.
I don't know yet.
I will be there with my slant 6, and I remember you sending me a picture of what your slant 6 ran, and I remember that ours were pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
So if you bring it, I'm going to call you out. How about that?
Nice. Now keep in mind, my slant 6, the distributor was locked out at 23 degrees of timing when I ran that.
Okay.
Now I've got a curve and it goes up to 30.
Awesome. Well, I can tell you right now that that's going to be a good race then, because remember, I'm changing to a stick shift.
Oh yeah.
So it's going to be an awesome race. It'll be fun, and that'll actually give me a warm up because I'm leaving straight from there to 666 for the next week.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Richard Racing. It might be a fuel system night. Just finished a Q-Jet. Yes, yes. Rabbit Transit Garage jumped in. Hi, how's it going, everyone? Hi, boys. Best winter ever here. Global warming finally kicking in. Yes. Yeah. We actually had, until today, we had some really nice days. It actually reminded me a lot of like San Diego, like a San Diego summer. It was nice and dry. It was like 80 degrees and 60 at night. And it was like, wow, I can get used to this. And then today happened.
It's been pretty hot here in Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
Today's actually been a little nicer because we've had wind enough to cool you off with your sweat.
Whereabouts in the state of Oklahoma are you? Just above Texas or in the middle, or?
So I am about 50 miles 50 miles east of Oklahoma City.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
I'm about, what would you say, about 10 miles south of I-40.
We're in central Oklahoma.
Yeah, real centralized.
Yeah. Wheelie King says, yeah, it was me. You said that too. LOL. I'm an impatient bastard. Dude, look, I'm the same way. In fact, there's a company that I just emailed because I'm trying to get a T5 S10 tail housing on it. And they make an adapter so I can put an S10 gear on the back. And I emailed them almost 5 days ago, and they said, give us a week to reply. And I'm sitting here, keep checking on my phone. Like, did you reply? Did you reply? So I get it.
I know just how that is.
Yeah. So now I did see the side pipes, and I did see that you, what's your girlfriend's name again? I'm sorry. I'm really terrible with names.
Shelby.
Like the Mustang.
Ah, got it. Okay. I saw that you like the side pipes, but you don't like it when they bite you.
Yeah, it burnt me bad.
Yeah. And the funny thing about it too is that it makes you jump, and then you're like, man, then you're like, why did I even do that?
Well, the day it happened, I felt it, and then I was like, what was that? And then I immediately touched it, and it immediately blistered, and it popped the blister and ran down my leg.
Oh, that's like almost second to almost third degree right there. Yeah.
That's what I told him, and he was like, nah. He used to work at Express Wellness, urgent care, and he was like, you're fine. I was like, no, call 911.
She's over dramatic.
Yeah, yeah. You know that there was at one time a J.C. Whitney, and they used to sell these side pipe little guards that you would clamp on.
Hmm.
Do they still make something like that? Have you seen those? They're like these little guards that go on the side pipes.
I don't know, but I've gotten so many comments on my short about putting those on my car.
I love them, dude. I love them. I think they're great, man. Don't ever take them off. Just leave them on there. And if someone doesn't like it, who cares? They're haters.
So the whole thing with the side pipes was easy access to take the purple hornies off. Plus, I really wanted those mufflers, and they wouldn't fit conventionally directly to the header because the headers were just pointing at the cross member for the torsion bar cross member. So I was like, screw it, put them on the side. And you know what? I like it. It'll be easy to just unbolt and put on some simple turn downs whenever I go to race the car. It'll be great.
I haven't burnt myself since. I learned my lesson.
Yeah, you learn one time you burn, then you realize I stick my foot further out,
Yeah.
My one time on those is I'm not sure if you know the early Vipers, they came with the side pipes, like the very first Vipers, like the 92 or 3, whatever it was. I burned myself on one of those, and I learned right away, put your leg way far out before you get out. Hey, someone's asking a question. Anywhere near Puddin in Oklahoma?
So I have driven past his old house numerous times. His old house where he started out at is only about 20 miles west of me. I don't know where he's at now, though.
I'm going to sound stupid. I have no idea who he's talking about.
I only know because I'm local to him. I don't watch his stuff. It's Puddin's Fab Shop.
Oh, so he's a car guy. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he builds some interesting stuff. A lot of lowrider. That's basically all I saw was lowrider trucks out in his yard.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Now I come from SoCal, so I like some of the lowriders there that would have the small Daytons on them, the really big Chevys or the big Fords, or even sometimes the New Yorkers, the drop tops. I really like that stuff, and believe it or not, I really enjoyed like a nice red candy with tons of flake and a red pearl, and then when they have like the 3-wheel, man, I love the hydraulics. I think they're so cool. If you've ever been in one, you'll understand.
I got to see a car going around up on 3 wheels just last weekend.
Yeah,
there's a guy next town over. They had a burnout competition. I went, and there's one of those cars just driving out of the place up on 3 wheels. It was pretty cool. I like that stuff. So
Greg said he's sitting here in Waffle House listening to you guys eating greasy hash browns and 2 eggs over medium. Hope you guys have a great week. You too, man. Absolutely. Once again, this is Tech Talk, so throw up your Tech Talk, and we'll get to whatever we can. And, between the two of us, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm not Dallas, but I got how long have I been doing this? Nowhere near as much as you, but I've been in the car hobby for about 11 years now myself, so I got a few things under my belt.
Yeah, all it is too is just it's just time. You've seen so much stuff, and it's just recognition and actually helping by doing this Tech Talk. Dallas and I talked before and after the show, and it's funny because we remember things that we didn't normally remember before the show. It's like, oh yeah, someone asked the question and we started going into it, and I started remembering things. So it actually keeps us remembering things that we normally would have just forgot.
Yeah.
So Mohawk saying hello, Shelby, Tanner, and Shane. How you doing? It's good to see you.
Hey there.
I'm glad, Shelby, that you if you want to get a chair, pull a chair up.
She's got one. She just ain't sitting in it.
Oh, she's so nervous.
we donated blood the other day, both of us, and we got free chairs.
You know what? I'm going to tell you something that I used to do. This is terrible, terrible stuff, but I'm telling you, this is what we used to do. Back when we were younger, we would go and we would donate blood at one place. Then we would go to a second place and donate blood. Then we would go drink beer.
Well, I'm not going to say that I didn't after we were done. I just gave it a few hours.
It doesn't only takes a couple beers at that point, That's
Did we both drink after?
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah. So let's see here. High on the 57 today in rain. We wanted to rattle on some steel brackets today, but it was too cold and wet, so I cleaned bolts. Boring, but necessary. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I put those bolts in sometimes in cardboard, and then I spray paint them black and heat them up first. And I'm telling you, you're absolutely right. Boring, but it sucks when you have a nice clean engine. You're like, man, these bolts suck. Just
Hey,
put them
you know
in.
what? It's like they say, you got to embrace the suck.
I agree, 100%. That is absolutely correct. So Riley's Rebuild has everything but one. I'm looking for an AVS2 carburetor, 1902 500 CFM with a manual choke. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know on the AVS2. I really don't. I personally would just get the regular old AVS 500 CFM. If you want my opinion, that's the way I would go. I just haven't had good luck personally with the AVS2 because that's just another piece that you have to adjust. And if you're adjusting secondaries, sometimes it just doesn't work as smoothly because now you have a second variable that you have to contend with. Have you ever messed with an AVS2, Tanner, yet?
No, I've only messed with an Edelbrock carburetor like once or twice. I've never had any personal experience with them though.
Yeah, so the regular AVS is probably what you're talking about. So that's the one that when you open it up, it's got a little flap in the middle that's non-adjustable. So as vacuum increases, it opens. The AVS2 has got the same type of thing. So you floor it, but the flap up on top is adjustable now. So you can actually adjust on a spring. So you can, make it tighter or looser so you can control the secondaries. The problem with that is that sometimes when you hit it too hard, it flaps that open. If it's not exactly perfect, give you a lean spot where the other one didn't because there was so much weight on it. Never really flapped open.
So I've always taken those. I have a little bit of experience with the Rochester carburetors. I have a car with the Rochester 4GC. Or apparently it's just the 4G, not the C. Mm-hmm. But I have one of those carburetors, and I always I felt like those were closer to the AVS, whereas the AVS2 was closer functionally to the Quadjet. Is that kind of right?
Yeah.
Because it's got the flap underneath down in the Venturi.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. Now, Dallas would love you for that. I've never been a fan. I never had anyone teach me how to work on a Quadjet at all. So for me, and I didn't have a bunch of parts for them. So every time they came into my shop, I was just kind of like, it's not that I was scared of them. I just didn't have any way to tune them because I had nothing. So the first thing I would do is I literally would take them off. And, even to this day, if I see one come across, I grab them and I store them just for Dallas. So when I see him, I give him a box of Rochester. I call them Rochesters. So that way he has more parts. But I've never messed with them. I just never messed with them. So I know nothing about them except for, that's a problem. Fixed.
So her Valiant actually has one of those Rochesters, just like what they put on John Wilburn's van just a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Her car has that exact same one.
Oh,
and
sweet.
I kind of want to change it out, but I also kind of want to work around the quirks of it and get it figured out.
Learn it. I'm telling you, if you could learn that, you'll be miles ahead of most people because most people don't even know how to work on those things, including myself. I just never learned. Dallas is trying to teach me some of the stuff, but I just never have anything here to mess with them because I've never really had any of those.
It's the original one from the 80s, right?
Yeah. Dr. Go was saying, yes, on the Shelby Charger on the Omni hatchback car. A friend had one too. Did you guys ever mess with any of those 4-door Omnis? Have you ever been in one, a turbocharged Omni?
I've never touched one. I've seen one in person, but it was not complete. The only running driving of those, what would they be? They called those the K cars, correct?
Yes,
like
that's
K
correct.
platform.
Yep.
So one of her old teachers actually ran into him the other day. He was driving around in the Rampage. That's the only one I've seen actually running down the road.
Yeah. Dr. Go is saying, thank you for donating as my life was saved 40 years ago thanks to donors. Yeah, man, I used to do it all the time. It's funny. I don't remember right now what my type is, but I got one that they always want. So whatever it is, because
So-
it can be everybody.
It was first time for me. I'd never done it before. My dad's been doing it my entire life, and I finally just said, you know what? Screw it, I'll go. It was like a half mile from my house. I came here, cleaned up, and then went down there and donated.
So going back to these things here, I can't call them anything but a quadribog. And look, I agree with you, but I can tell you, I have been some of Dallas's tuned quadrojets, and they are definitely not a quadribog. I can tell you that. They're actually really good. And when you know what you're doing and you know what parts are what, they work really good. So I'm going to give them on that. And if you ever have you ever ridden in his Suburban by any chance?
I don't think I've seen it.
We're going to go. So it's exactly 20 minutes and 28 seconds. Switch pitch. There we go. He's got a switch pitch. He's got a switch pitch in that thing. And it was really the first time he was actually had it activated, because I've been in the Suburban many times, but never. I was only in once after I had rebuilt that switch pitch for him and sent it back to him. And man, that thing is amazingly awesome. Yeah. Let's see the claims for humans damage. Oh yeah, okay. That was recommended. Oh yeah, if only had a quadribog. It was an 84 LG4 305 powered Monte Carlo. It made funny noises. That was about it. It made fun noises. Okay. Yes.
I know a guy who has one of those engines, and in bone stock form, in a 86 Camaro, it was running mid-15s.
Wow.
I was very impressed. He pulled the front cover off, though, and it had jumped tooth on the timing chain.
Going back to the Omni, I had a friend who had an Omni, and it ran 13 seconds, and it was literally his daily driver.
Wow.
And it was not even really tuned. It literally was just factory parts. And back then, Chrysler used to have these parts. So like if you wanted to go 12 seconds, you would buy these list of parts bolted on. So they had done all the work for you.
Yeah.
He literally bought the kit, put it on, like 1320s in that car with an automatic. And it literally is just a transverse mounted 904. And they have these gears in them. So like they have the gear that comes for the automatic, then it transfers down and goes down to the ring and pinion. So the side gears, you take the plate off the side and then you change the gears out. And so it's like making it like a 411 or a 430 gear. I'm telling you, they were really great cars back then. SSR Performance. Anyone mess with Easy Street EFI? Yes, I have. Have you ever messed with anything like that?
I've never messed with any aftermarket EFI.
Oh man, I have. I've actually messed with them on other people's cars, and I tried to put EFI, like a throttle body EFI, on the Slant 6, and it was a miserable failure. Anyone I put on there was a failure, just because there's such a small cubic inch engine.
Yeah, I remember when you had that on that, well, not when, but looking back through your videos, I remember seeing that.
Yeah, it did good. The problem is that it would start up great, it would drive great, but man, when it got warm, it would just do this surge idle that you just couldn't get rid of. It was just terrible. Just terrible. I had a Rampage as a demo when I was selling them in 85. Wow. We date ourselves, don't we, sometimes, right? Yeah, we do. I remember standing in line for the Metallica and Justice for All album at a Tower Records when they used to drop them at midnight. Think about that. Yeah.
What year did that one come out? 89?
87.
Was it 80? Yeah, it was the year right after Cliff Burton died.
Yeah.
What came out in 89?
Maybe it was 89, because I remember the Black Album came out in 91, 92. All right, we got a tech question. Shane, tech question here. How does one tune vacuum secondary carbs in a dual quad setup? Oh, man, that's actually a really good one. I can tell you right now, here's how I do it, is that do you have a progressive linkage on that? And if you don't, you should. What I do is I put them on a progressive linkage. I run the back carburetor as my primary, because that's closer to the center. Then the secondary comes in at about half throttle. Then what I do is I put my vacuum gauge on that, and I usually run an AFR gauge at the exact same time. And what I do is as I go through the throttle, and you'll see the one, and then you'll see the second one open, and then when the secondary is open, it's going to go lean for a second, and then it's going to go really fat. Typically, what I do is I watch the AFR and the vacuum gauge that I have right on the dash at the exact same time, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to watch the RPM and the AFR and watch the vacuum gauge. And if one is spiking before this is dropping, that means it's too fat. If this one is going, when I say spiking, I mean going dead fat. If it goes dead lean, then you can change it as far as opening sooner. So that's how I do it. Now, typically, I don't like vacuum secondaries on a dual quad setup for that exact problem, is because now you're bringing another variable into the equation that you just don't need. If you tune it so that way you have it on a progressive linkage to where you have the front with your primary carburetor and then your secondary carburetor at about quarter throttle, and then everything opens up, it's really easy to tune, because then when it goes wide open throttle, you're push the loud pedal to the ground. Have you ever tuned any of those, like a dual carb before like that?
No, not yet. I'm planning to I've got a tunnel ram over here for the race stamp, and I'm planning to do that before No Name Nationals, get that on there. That'll be my first experience.
Yeah, if the easy button on one of those would be like an Edelbrock style, like AVS, or like a Carter style, the one that doesn't have the doors on top, that is the real easy button on those, because you're essentially going to run on the primaries, and then it's only fuel demand for the secondaries, and it's really easy to tune. Once you get to that, then I would go to, like, say, a VRS if you're getting into a more racing application. But if you're going to drive it on the street, it's hard to beat those ABS carbs.
Yeah, and I do plan to drive it on the street, not all the time, but a bit.
Yeah, and the ABS on the street, because it has those metering rods with the springs, you can adjust that as it's running. You can literally take those things out, change out the spring, drop it back in there, and then drive it right back down the road without even dumping out the fuel in it. So it's really simple. And getting yourself a wideband and a vacuum gauge literally is everything. That's all you really need to tune it, is those two things.
Yeah. Well, luckily there is a wideband somewhere in this shop.
Awesome. Dr. Go, I have a 1903 AVS2 with electric choke. The 1903 is supposed to be the second carb on dual quad setup and had a smaller secondary jets. I just need to buy the full tune kit so I can use it as a single. Oh, I got you. I see what you're saying. Okay. This one, Wheelie King, saying my neighbor has been playing with one of those eBay Q-Jets. Dude, just throw it away. Don't even, I'm telling you, if it's one of those Chinese Q-Jets, we get the Chinese ABS2 carbs or the China Hollies, man, he's saying he's having great results. I find that hard to believe, because I've never seen one work ever. He uses one of them silly carb cheaters to data log and a huge pile of old carbs for parts, and damn it, it is good. I'm telling you right now, he's probably the lucky one that's made it work. Yeah, right. The Quadra Junks need a 200-pound weight break for a reason. Hey, Mr. Wilburn jumped in here. How you doing? Except when on a van.
They make that van run better, huh?
Have you been watching some of those videos that he was making, those shorts?
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed them.
Yeah, I thought they were too. Did you want to go ahead and read some of these? Want to give it a go? If you don't, that's fine. I'll do it.
I'm way later in the chat, and there's one that I saw that just made me really laugh.
Okay. Well, when we get done with this one, then just point it out and we'll go to it. 202 Omnis are no freaking joke. Exactly. One of the most cars I've ever driven. I hate torque steer, but Omnis are like go-karts on steroids. Exactly. My buddy had one that was a 4-door. Another guy had one that was a 2-door, and it was even smaller. And then because it was a K car, he literally dropped out one section of it, put it back into the other one after he crashed it a few times. Is it this one here?
No, it's at 727. It's Frank Parks.
Frank Parks. All right, here you go.
So he says, Tanner, how many quarts of power steering fluid are you feeding your Mopar each week? Saginaw power steering pumps are very basic and simple to reseal. Procrastination won't fix it.
I agree with him because I've been watching that too. And do not get one of those little fix it in the cans, the little Lucas oil. It doesn't work. It just swells it up, makes it worse later on.
Yeah, well, as much as I hate to, I do need to get to working on that. I have not fiddled with it. I've been driving the car, been doing other projects. I really want to just swap it to manual steering because I prefer manual, but that car I think deserves to stay power steering because it's the only car I have that handles well.
Yeah.
Are you gonna show that bottle right there?
No.
I rebuilt the one in my green car. They're just rubber seals, and they're really simple to do, and it's really a fun job if you've never done it before.
Yeah, I've never done it before, but I looked at the local O'Reilly. They didn't have a reseal kit for it. They couldn't get it, and that's as far as I looked into it. I just hadn't gone back to looking for a reseal kit for it.
Yeah. Shane, will that work with QJets? I know that's a Dallas question. I can tell you right now that most carburetors are just dumb animals, regardless of what they are. It's going to take how much vacuum is it pulling the engine, and then AFR. That's all it is. It's just an engine, and it's just a fuel delivery service. That's all it really is. Whether how it's going to work, yes, I'm telling you right now. Even when you ask him, it's going to be the same thing. Now, he will have. Because he knows those carbs, if you're telling me which carb you're running as far as an AVS or Holly, I could tell you exactly how to set up. He'll probably be able to tell you exactly how to set it up right out of the box, just like that, so they get a little closer to it. Yes, everyone, please go check out our sponsor. Since we got a few people in here, I'm going to do our very first little commercial here. He actually has a new product come out, and I have to show everyone this. And so excuse this, but this is what makes this free for everyone. So here we go.
Many of you are familiar with our spark plug storage cases that have been around for a few years now. We have a fresh spin on it. Still takes up about the same amount of space as two cases, but here you can store 16 in one box. So if you just don't want to carry two cases, or maybe you've got one of these fancy new Gen 3 Hemis that takes 16 plugs, this may be the box for you. Available on the website now.
So yeah, go check that out. He's got some really cool stuff there, and that's 16 plugs. So like even if you're a nitrous guy, you could put basically 2 sets of plugs in there, and then go to the track, and you don't have to fumble where they're at, and you can have them pre-gapped, and then that way they don't hit each other and pain in the butt.
That does seem like a really nice thing to have. Really nice.
He gave us me and Dallas kind of like a care kit of like some of the products, and I started using it. At first I was like, oh, this is kind of cool stuff. But I actually started using a lot of his products, and it's super handy. The carb hat that he has got spark plugs on there. That way you can put the hat on there, plus put your spark plugs in there, and then put it right on top of the carb. And then you can look at them while they're in there too. So that way you don't have to worry about dropping them. They're actually inside there. It's actually awesome.
Yeah, that was one of the first things that I looked at, and I thought that it was really, really neat. I just hadn't bothered to spend the money on anything like that yet.
Yeah. Well, I hope someone does, because that's what keeps this thing going. He pays for this for the StreamYard for us. So, in fact, I'm going to be up there all next week shooting some video. So I can't tell you more about it, but we're shooting some video. And we're going to be at the track, not this Friday, but the following Friday, doing some testing on the old Wozniak 73 CUDA. So,
ooh,
yeah. He's testing a lot of parts for us. Yeah. And in fact, oh, you know what? I forgot to tell you this. I'm actually going to be testing a carburetor that you'll be racing against it if you bring the Slant 6, even if you don't have to race, whatever. But it's going to be a carburetor that's not released yet. Yes. In fact, that's the reason why I'm taking my twin Hollies off right now, the 1920s, is because I'm putting something on it that we're going to do a long-term test with. And since I drive that car literally everywhere, that's what it's going to be for. Yeah.
Sounds pretty neat.
Yeah. So this one's for you, Frank. I think Tanner will dump the PS fluid in the garbage right next to the PS box and the pump.
Yeah, remember what I said about manual steering?
I love them, dude. I love manual steering because it's just less things to break. It's just
Exactly.
yeah, and I've always. Do you know that my very first automatic car ever was my 2003 Dodge truck, the one that well actually 2004. I bought it brand new. It's the very first automatic car I've ever had.
Really?
Yes, I've had nothing but that because the wife wanted to be able to drive it at some point. She didn't know how to drive stick. So then basically everything just started moving to automatic. I'm moving everything back to stick because even though they're my old cars, they're fun to drive, but now they're getting kind of boring to drive. So
Hmm.
I want to bring that fun factor back. And and look at it this way. If you have a problem with an automatic transmission, you're stuck. With a manual
Hmm.
transmission, even if your clutch goes out, you can get home.
Oh yeah. I've had to get home by mine wasn't clutch went out. Mine was the throwout bearing fell off of the
Fork.
fork, the clutch fork, fell off the clutch fork whenever I first got my satellite swapped to the 4-speed. So I fired it up in neutral, let it warm up a little bit, killed it, first gear, cranked it until it fired up and started going. And I don't shift with the clutch ever. So
I had a 70 Dart 340 4-speed. This is 90s, right? Coming back from LA and lots of traffic, and my starter, my clutch went out, just like literally just went out. And I'm not sure what it was at that time because I couldn't get underneath the car because it was so low. I didn't carry a bunch of tools with me back then. So I literally sat on the side of the road until traffic went away. So I was there for about 3 or 4 hours, just kind of hanging out, whatever. And then once traffic started dying down, I was basically in San Clemente. I know you don't know where that's at, but it's right before Pendleton all the way home. So then I did the same thing. I started up neutral, got the car warmed up. Then I started up in first gear, and then chung 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 chung. And then once it started going, I was good. And then when I had now where I lived in town, I had to get off the freeway and I had to drive on Poway Road, like a few miles, and there's some stoplights and stuff. So I found a way to drive up in second gear, and then in second gear I could hit neutral and coast, and then I would just keep coasting and keep it rolling and rolling and rolling. And then if you could get the RPMs just low enough, you pull it into second, it would clunk into second and then start going again. And so yeah, I drove all 115 miles with no clutch. I've done that.
well, I can actually get mine to shift into first gear without the clutch.
Oh,
Just rolling low enough, hit the throttle a little bit, bam, it'll click into first.
see, mine, I could never do that. Is it an 833 is what yours is?
Yeah, it's a 70 model 833.
That's what mine was, the 70 model. Well, I think it was 70 or 79. I can't remember. Not 70 or 71. I don't remember because of what year it was, but as far as the transmission. But I could never, mine had to be literally at a dead stop. And I think it was probably the synchros, but it had to be a dead stop and they would kind of go to get into first gear. But all the rest of them were fine. So I could never downshift in the first if it was rolling at all. Mohawk 62 saying, stationed at Yuma Proving Grounds in 1982, we got an order in for new trucks. Some checked the wrong box, and we got 12 new Rampage trucks in mint green. I used one as a parts getter and liked it. That's awesome.
I bet that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Did you ever see what a Subaru Brat? Have you ever driven one of those before?
I've never driven one, but I have seen them in person. They're pretty neat.
I had a friend who had one, and they had a seat. They had two seats in the back that were actually like jump seats that you could like strap into.
Hmm.
And that car didn't have enough power for 4 people in it. Like it didn't. It just didn't. You would put basically 2 full-size dudes and then some camping gear in the back. And that was it. And if you put 4 full-size dudes in there, that car was struggling in California. You just couldn't get up and down the hills. So
Now, I do like Wheelie King's little deal here at 737. He's talking about the best handling car he's ever owned.
Yep.
So I am pointing at a manual brake, manual steering Pinto right now. I
yeah,
love it. I love the way that car handles.
yeah. I have what I call like I have an SMB right now. It's a soulless mobility blob, right? and it's it's going to be my daughter's car. It was my mom's car, and she can't drive anymore. So we got the car, and it's a 2016 or 17 Toyota Camry. It's beige. It's beige interior. It's a four. I mean, it's everything that you don't want for driving fun. It's perfect for her. I'm driving it right now to kind of work the bugs out of it because it was a little neglected. It's going to need tires and brakes and stuff like that. But literally, it has no soul. And I haven't driven a car with no soul in it for a very long time. It's almost scary to get in the car and it be completely dead. If you understand what I'm talking about, like you start it, there's no quirks. It's not alive. There's nothing going on besides just getting you from here to there and then shutting off, and that's that. A little frightening. Have you ever driven a car like that?
Honestly, the closest I can say is my mother's new car that she has. She's got a 2020 Toyota CHR. That's about the closest I've driven.
That's definitely a soulless mobility blob for sure.
Now, she has a car that's definitely like that. I can't even stand to ride in the thing. But it's because of the seats. I cannot sit in those seats.
But it kicks ass.
What is it?
It's a Nissan Kicks, a 2022. Oh. Hey, but it has sports mode.
Hence the reason why it kicks ass. I got you.
It literally says that on the back. So, like, I went to O'Reilly's and I got some of those silver letters. And where it says Kicks, I just put ass under it.
That's awesome.
I knew I liked her whenever she showed me that.
The front of the car says Silly Goose on the loose.
That's a short right there all in itself.
Oh, it is.
It is. How long has it been since you've seen that car?
That car's at my mom's, and I've been staying with him. So.
Oh,
we need to go get it.
That's definitely a short because then you could be like, then you can own that. Like what I mean by that is that you see these people with this Toyota trucks and they take the thing off and it says tacos. Like, oh, you're not unique. That's been done since the 80s. You do that, you own that from that point on, and you're the originator of that. So
that's true.
Video of that.
I should do it.
You should.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had a Turbo Z, and they improved the torque steer by the time the IROC came along. I remember I used to drag race. I've said this before in here, but I used to. I was used foot, but I was a driver for a guy who had a bunch of Hondas. I used to drive a Honda CRX B Series B18. We used to put turbos on these things and put nitrous on them. And back then, I've said this many times, but the turbos were too big because we were getting them out of the wrecking yard. They're actually on the very first Dodge trucks. So we used to run nitrous into the exhaust. And when you were sitting there farting and popping, we'd run the nitrous in there and the fuel going through that would burn in the turbo and it would help spool the turbo up. And so I'm telling you, when you would dump the clutch on one of those things, they literally were everywhere back in the day. And I remember driving with my elbow in the door and pulling on it, and then every time you shifted, you would have to pull back up and then shift right back over as you got back on the throttle. It was definitely interesting. And then when you get into the desert with all the sand, because we used to race a lot in the desert, and especially when it was windy out there, the torque story was even worse. Oh, it's just, I don't know how we survived all that time, man. You're just like, oh, well, this just is what it is. I got to turn quarter of the way on the steering wheel just to go straight. When I shift, let's go back straight, and then I come right back, Somebody thought about putting a 2.2 intercooled turbo on a Rampage. Might be fun.
I know a guy who wants to do that, and he has the Rampage. Funny enough, he had a Shelby Charger as well. But I don't think that Rampage has ran since I've seen it probably 7 years ago.
Wow. 7 years. Wow.
Yeah.
Indirect Connection says he went down to Monte Eagle today with no trans because his auto failed, but the sensor failed. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm actually broke down right now in Jacksonville, Florida. Wow. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I've been there. I've actually been on the side of the road. The only time my diesel trucks ever failed me was when I had a problem with the transmission, and it literally was just a sensor. It was the shift selector. It wouldn't show D. So because it wouldn't show D, it wouldn't allow it to move forward. Just wouldn't allow it to do anything. And we're not really sure what it was. I think the cable had slightly stretched, so it was kind of in between gears. So then after sitting there and trying to find a truck, because I had AAA to come and get me, I reached up underneath there and I was able to pop it out of off the clip, and then I was able to manually get it until it showed D. Then once I found it in D, I had my friend sitting inside of it. We started up in park. I put it and ratcheted it under the truck that's running, found D, jumped in the truck, and then drove it home. In the ass. Shane, what alternator are you using for your Hemi Dart? Can I use a stock Chrysler alternator with a Terminator ECU? Yes. In fact, that's exactly what I'm doing. There's been many people who've done that, but I'm actually probably going to be changing to a different alternator. I don't remember the name offhand. It's a one-wire alternator deal because it's set up for power steering, but I think I'm going to get rid of the power steering. It's a power assist steering, but I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that because I'm with Tanner on this one. I want manual with manual. So I only want it to turn the water pump and an alternator, and that's it. So I apologize about my phone here because it's making a bunch of noise. I still believe that farts and poo are funny, so when my text comes through, it's a fart, by the way. So see here. Yes, it does. Everything is wrong with everything's wrong with the auto shift in a Class 8 truck. It's dangerous. Yes. Transmission slave center. Oh yeah, right. So, Damien's saying the transmission slave center went out on his '89 Bronco 2.0 liter. I'm surprised the starter lasted as long as it did, leaving all stops in first gear. I'm telling you, man, I agree with you. I was actually, and this is before I had one of those gear reductions, so it was an original Chrysler starter. Oh man, it was
the old school one before they went to the Magnum style.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, if you get a starter now, don't get the Magnum one. Get one for a 94 V6. I think it's a 3.8 liter. It's even smaller.
Really?
Yeah. So because they have different motor sizes, right? So on the Cookie Monster and all the rest of them, I get them for a V6, and it's the actual smallest one. It has just the same amount of torque because it's gear reduction. It takes a little bit more amps to run, but it's much smaller, and it fits behind the headers better. So, yeah. And on your Slant 6 too, it doesn't make it. You can run the smallest one you want on that thing.
Yeah, that Slant 6 doesn't take anything to turn anyway.
Right. I bet you could pull start one of those things with a pull starter on a stock.
Oh, no, I'm thinking like old school hand crank.
Little crank? Yeah, right. Oh, I see. Leave it to Dodge to take about an 85 Rabbit engine and get 300 horsepower out of it in 3 years. Yeah, and we did it in a weekend with a kit from Chrysler.
I've actually got. I don't have. My dad, he has one of those old Mopar Performance books that has all the recipes in the back. I remember looking through that and being baffled at how tame some of those engine combinations were.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you because you read some of those camshafts. Have you ever seen one of the old school books of they have all the recipes? Like if you want to run 13s, you put this cam in it, and you read the specs, and you're like, dude, like that's really small. But now that I've been doing cams for a long time, and you're like, oh, I know why they did that. Because they didn't want you to RPM it. They were just trying to use the torque, and that's why the gearing matched. And I was like, oh, it all makes sense now.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you're young like I was, whenever I looked at it, I thought it was crazy. How are they running these times with these small cams? But, as I've gotten a little older, more inclined, I realized small cam with decent head flow and a moderate gear is awesome.
Yep. And that's actually what I'm doing with my 68 Dart. That's going to be a road race car. The cam in it is not crazy by any means. It's 229 duration to 50, 236 on a 110, but it's all in the head flow. Those heads flow almost 400 CFM, and it's a 6.1 liter Gen 3 Hemi. So it's going to make power like literally from 2,500 to who knows where, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it should be fine. Wheelie
Now,
King. What's that?
I do have something on that topic once you're done with this comment.
Okay, yeah. So Wheelie King, just backing up the soulless thing, he goes, he bought his wife a 55K 7-seat vehicle to haul family GTX around. Soulless, I can't drive it. I completely understand that. Every time I had to drive the wife's Journey, it just made me angry. You know, it just at least the Journey has it has not as many sensors on it. In fact, I bought the base model on purpose because it doesn't have all those controls. The Camry has like lane assist. It has all these like drive-by-wire little features that just make me mad because I don't even feel like I'm not even steering the car anymore. It's doing, yeah, I'm just an input. I'm not even driving the car. It says I'm just a suggestion. The computer goes, you know what? We're not going to do that right now. We're going to do something else.
The thing I hate with one of the Ford ambulances that I get to drive is the bright lights on, the headlights trying to turn it to brights.
Yeah.
I can't get it figured out how to just have it be on. It'll randomly turn off on me. It'll auto dim. It's stupid. Why can't I just go back to a switch on the floor?
Agreed. I'm telling you, that was the most brilliant thing. That way you don't have to take your hands off the steering wheel. You're literally driving, light brights on, brights off. Done. Simple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Why they had to mess with it? So, all right, you were going to say something?
So back on that cam thing.
Yeah.
So what my thought process has been for a little while is, and I kind of want to see what your opinion is on this,
Sure.
but I like the idea of a relatively small cam, say around 212 to 220 degrees of duration on the intake at 50, depending on what you want to do, but
Yep.
with a narrower lobe separation, like 110, 108, something a little bit narrower. So that way, with the small amount of duration, it'll still have vacuum if you need vacuum for power brakes or anything like that. And it'll still have a relatively mild idle, but that narrower lobe separation angle will help out with the torque.
Yes.
Am I onto something there?
Yes, you are. The only downfall to that is that when it's narrow, it just remember, it brings all the peaks closer, so it really falls off much faster. So if it's a slant 6, I agree with you because 4,500 RPM that's about it. But typically, like on the ones I did for just Mopar Joe for those 2 360s, I put them on a 110 because they wanted the world. They wanted mileage, they wanted sound, they wanted power, they wanted to over rev. Typically, if you widen the LSA, you'll stretch the power out. Now you're going to lose some torque, but you can, as far as like cam torque, it's just going to make as much work as it wants. It's just going to make it in a different realm. Instead of it being peaky, you're going to bring the peak out. You're going to make it flatter. So usually, people like a longer torque curve than they do with a peaky one. But what you're talking about is exactly what I have in my green car, because it has a very narrow power band because it's a slant 6. So that's the reason why I put them on 108s, 106s for that exact reason, is because I want it on and then shift it and be off with it. And then absolutely, it works good.
So where I was first thinking that sort of thought process with camshafts was actually in kind of brainstorming over a 390 that I'm wanting to build for my truck. I just want it to be something that's going to have tons of torque and be great to tow with. It doesn't need RPM, just tons of torque.
Yeah, but remember, when you have that kind of cubic inches, you just naturally need to have more duration at 50 just to fill the cylinder. So, like say something that's I know it's a slant 6, but if you just take it down to the cylinder level, 225 divided by 6, 390 divided by 8, and then your bore size. So typically you're going to want a little bit more duration just because it's a bigger cubic inch engine, and it will absorb that and not hurt it at all. In fact, sometimes it actually makes more torque because it allows it to breathe a little bit. So what I tell people to do is don't look at numbers, just look at trends. If you can download one of those like desktop dynos, have you ever messed with one of those at all?
I haven't, but I've looked into them a little bit.
Yeah, there's a free download one that's it's old, but it's just a trend. So you can build an engine that like build an engine on there that with the head flow that and everything, and then start playing with camshafts, and then you can, as far as duration of 50 and then lobe separation angle, keep the lift a constant, just keep it at the same, so that way that's not changing things, and then you can start to see how the trend of things work. And then obviously now with YouTube, you can basically back that up by going to like see one of these guys who dynos engines with camshafts and go, is this true and does it trend correctly? Well, yeah, And then another thing to remember about camshafts is that if it's got a big stall converter in it, I don't care what happens below 5,000 because the stall is say 4,500, 5,000. So on most drag cars, you'll notice that have a high stall, they're not going to have a 106 or 108. They're going to be like on a 110, 112, or even a 114 because they want to carry that power farther out the back door. And that's the reason is because they don't care about that initial hit. They're just looking for the longevity of the camshaft. So, but yeah, you're onto something. Get that desktop dyno. It's really fun just to play with stuff. And then that way you can kind of see, and that way you can form your own opinions on what works and what doesn't work. And then buy some camshafts and try it out. It's really awesome. See here, anything too many cool. Let's see, did we get a little far behind? Right now. Okay, so Plymouth on Plywood says, hi all, been on nights last week. I'm rebuilding the rear spring boxes on the Dart wagon right now. Be mostly listening. Well, thanks for joining in. And I do the same thing as I watch Buff and Kim. I'll put them on the background while I'm working on cars late into the night. So yeah, I understand. I do the exact same thing.
I do that a lot too nowadays.
Yeah. Do you got a TV in the garage?
There's one right behind me.
Oh, I
haven't hooked it up yet.
Yeah. I got a 55-inch in there just so I could turn it and I could see it in the whole garage. But yeah, it's actually cool. Now that I got a laptop down there, it's even better because I don't watch much TV anymore. It's like I just watch some YouTubes. I try to watch all your guys' videos, and there's a lot of you guys. You guys got good content, so
there is a lot of us nowadays, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. Yes, Tanner is on this Wednesday night because Dallas is on vacation, and that which brings me up to the 1 hour mark here. I'm not going to be doing a live next Wednesday. Dallas is going to be out as well too. He's going to be out for 2 weeks, and I'm going to take that time off. I'm going to be up at Springfield, Tennessee at Mr. Woff Racing's compound, and then I'll be racing. But I'm just going to take the week off because I'll be driving back on Wednesday from Springfield, Tennessee. So I'm just going to take some time off, and we'll catch you guys the week after that. Oh, Mexican Spec says hi, Shelby. Check out the Holly. Mohawk saying, check out the Holly 2021 Holly Mo Party Mike Cooperland's mid-engine Hemi-powered Rampage. Think about that.
Wow.
You know, I haven't seen a Rampage in so long.
What kind of motor was in my teacher's?
It's going to be a 2.2.
Yes, I have a book using 15-second slide. Exactly. And you know what? I don't believe it because the very first one that I built, I did the exact same thing that they say there. And it wasn't even close to that. But remember, it was a little heavier of a car, but it wasn't even close to that. So then that's when I started playing with it myself. But yes, I have that book too. Mean Street Mopar is here. What's up, everyone?
What's up, Ken?
We got Tanner and Shelby in here today, so it's awesome. Thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Hey, you know what? I'm always down for being on lives. I want to start doing some of my own. I just haven't found the time to actually do it.
You know, it's one of those things you just got to find the time and commit and just start doing it, you know, and find your slot, you know, that people know. And just once you get on there, just don't change it, you know. And if you have some content that people are really into, like if, you know, I'm telling you, if you did one where you did like, like where you two were like working on that car, like say that satellite, you're going to take it to Batesville or whatever it is, and try to do 150 miles an hour, and in that car, because that car is designed for that. That car was literally built for that type of thing, and you start building an engine for it and doing lives with that. I'm telling you right now, that would be cool. I would watch that too, because it's you guys have never done any like top end racing, huh?
No, the fastest I've ever been is about 105.
Oh, I'm telling you right now, yeah, that's every 20 miles an hour beyond 100 miles an hour is like double. It feels faster, like it feels another double, even though it's not. It feels faster, and then once you get to that 140 mark, that's where things become interesting. And then the next 20 seems even much faster. And then the fastest I've been is 187 as far as driving. I haven't hit my 200, and that was on my street bike. Driving a car was about 155, 160 in that range. But at 187, the lines on the ground literally were one. You couldn't distinguish the lines. They looked like a yellow blur.
Wow.
So, yeah. That was in my wilder days. That was wilder days. Like
We're supposed
7
to
years
race
ago.
this weekend. We're gonna race the Scamp and the Valiant this weekend.
Yeah, we're planning on Saturday to find out whose 73 A body's faster.
That is awesome. You know what? Live stream that.
I'm probably gonna crash and burn. Me and the Valiant's gonna be nothing but a blue greasy spot. I can't drive fast. I really can't.
I told her we're barely gonna hit highway speeds.
Yeah, imagine Shelby, it's like getting on a freeway on ramp. That's all it is, right? So it's literally like if you had a red light at the top of an on ramp and then you're just flooring it, that's about an eighth mile. That's getting onto the freeway, and you're going to be hitting about that speed. So nothing, if you can just get onto the freeway on ramp and merge and do all that stuff, you'll be just fine in an eighth mile.
I finally got it through a thick skull the other day that we're not going to go that fast.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe 70, maybe 80, 70 or 80.
I'm guessing with her car, probably low to mid 70s.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. That's about what it should do. Yeah, just think about that. That's like you getting really fast onto a freeway on ramp. That's it.
But once I pass you, you're gonna have to let off because then there's gonna be no competition.
Oh, no. I just keep going. I'll run to the record service at the end.
Yeah, she said he's saying that his wife does all that fancy shit. First time I drove it, it was pulling the wheel around in my hand. I said, "Yeah, fuck this, you drive." I agree. I'm telling you, when I saw the heads-up display that it starts showing you red, yellow, and I'm like, yes, I'm avoiding potholes, and because it wouldn't allow me to avoid a pothole, I'm hitting all these holes, and I'm like, no wonder people can't drive around these things because their cars won't allow them. Valiant Adventure 1973 says, my Nissan Kicks has a thing where you can't get too close to stuff or it will automatically slam on its brakes and give you whiplash almost. Wow.
Yeah, it will legit slam on its own brakes and you'll be like, what? And it has like, what is that thing where it's like a hydraulic? Is it hydraulic? Where it like auto does it? Like with it, with like the noise the e-brake makes when you press the button?
Oh, yeah. It's like an electronic e-brake setup.
Yeah.
You put it in park and you'll hear.
And that's what it does when it slams on its own brakes. Like it freaks you out, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I broke something!" But no, it's
that's
just
like your anti-lock brake. So like you feel it in your foot, it pulses.
Oh no, she's talking like if you try to run into a brick wall.
Like, and it's like if you pull up close to, like you're trying to get close to a tree to get out of someone's way or something. Like it won't let you do it. Or you pull up too close at a red light to someone, it'll freak out, start beeping at you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's not that bad, but that sounds bad.
I don't like
does your car slam on the brakes when it sees a shadow of a bridge? This Freightliner does.
Yeah, I answered him on there. Yeah, and it will even lock up on like parking lot lines if they're too dark, or like the slope of a concrete, like backing out of my mom's driveway. Sometimes it tries to do it because it's like really, what is that called? Really steep when you're going down. And
yeah, it's steep enough to where the exhaust pipe on the back of the Scamp would scrape on the ground.
But the The sensors get so close to the road that it thinks that it's going to hit it because it's like it's so steep going down, and then it will hit the brakes sometimes.
That's awesome.
And like in the wintertime when it's really frosty outside, or like if there's a sheet of ice on my car, it will like constantly lock its brakes up. It's hard for me to go anywhere because the car will constantly try and lock its brakes up.
It's terrible.
You got to get out and scrape it off the sensors on the side because it thinks that something's in its way.
And that's supposed to be modern.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2022.
The best.
I think
my
I told
best
you.
vehicle for ice is the Pinto.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Lightweight, 4-speed, four manual brakes, manual
Yeah.
steering. You can't overdo anything.
You're the computer, so you know what to do and what not to do. Yeah, I like that.
Mhm.
I think I told you guys this before, but my daughter, I was teaching her how to drive. I taught her how to drive in the Beaver. And it's a 1969 Slant 6, all original stock Slant 6. I mean, it's as stock as you get. 60,000 original miles, and it's the wife's car. So that was her first car she learned how to drive in. And she was scared of it at first, but now she starts it up, does everything, and she's really good at it. She's fine with that car. She's scared to get in the Toyota because of all the modern electronics. She's scared of that car compared to the Valiant because now that she knows the Valiant just does only what you tell it to do. That's all it will do. It's like, yeah, and it's not going to hurt you because I said floored. It's not going to go really fast. It just does what you tell it to do. If you let off the throttle, it's going to let off. So she's scared to learn how to drive in the Toyota now. So
I like driving my 73 Valiant way better than I like driving my Kicks. The Kicks, I haven't even driven it in 2 weeks,
yeah,
but maybe once or twice.
that's
Keep the
awesome.
battery up.
I daily that Valiant. I like it better, even though it doesn't have air conditioning and it's like hotter than Satan's balls in Oklahoma right now. But I got the wing glass.
I agree with you. In fact, I have to drive like 11 miles to work and back. But even in my car sitting in the sun, and I'm in Tennessee, so it gets hot here, like really hot, like during summer, like right now. But they have the little ball vents, is what I call them on the Dodges. They got the little vent down there.
Yeah.
I keep my boys nice and cool. I got the little vent, the little wing vent. And as soon as I start driving, because I drive an extra 3 miles, so I don't have to deal with any traffic. And it's all like a highway. So it's like 55, 60 miles an hour. And as soon as I start driving, I'm good. It's like it clears out and everything cools down. And everybody else is in their little box with the AC on. I agree with you, hotter than balls, but Satan's balls. But it's a lot more fun. I see it.
I'd rather sweat and turn heads than have my windows up and compare myself to all the other people on the road.
I do not feel comfortable with the AC on. Like whenever I'm driving in those ambulances, I'll have the sun beating down on one leg, the cold air blowing on the other leg, and it's like, I'm not equal. It's uncomfortable as I'll get out.
So Mexican spec here says for us in Mexico, they had Dart wagons up until 1982, not including 1970 and 76. So think about that. Mexican spec is actually, he's talked to me about, possibly getting another Ram Charger. I am eventually going to get one. I'm not sure when, but when I do, I'm going to get it from him. But could you imagine getting a Dart wagon that's a 1982 Dart wagon? How cool would that be, dude?
I'm curious, does it look the same as the early Darts, or was it just called a Dart but it had like the F body front end on it?
I think it's going to be more like a Volare. A Volare. It's going to be something like that. I think that's going to be something like that, but it would still be cool. Mexican spec, if you ever got one, man, make a short of one of those things and show it to us, because that would be cool. I've always wanted a station wagon. That would be really, really, really cool.
Oh, wagons are awesome.
Yeah. Indirect Connection said New Mexican. Yes, I'm in. I'm startled when it does it, because I pull a smooth bore, unbaffled tinker, 44 pounds, and it hits the back, and it's awful hard. Sorry. There was a little glitch in there, and I was trying to read that there, and I apologize for that. It little bump there. Vacation, what's that? I agree. Yes, I do deserve a break. So yeah, we're just going to take a little break next week. So if you guys didn't catch that, we're not going to be here. This one's for you, man. Go ahead and read it.
Oh, yeah, saying that if I do some lives, do something about the backlight because there's glare. Yeah, I noticed that whenever I started this, but y'all aren't going to be able to see me if I turn these lights off. They are very, very bright. So
Yeah.
I'd have to put some lighting in here or just do it in my house instead.
Yeah. In fact, we were actually having problems with sound and connection all the way up until 1 minute before we went live. And if you don't believe me, it's the truth. Literally.
It is. I had to swap devices. I had to move my Wi-Fi router. I pulled it out here to the shop. I had to move it all the way to where it's outside the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I had to kick out and come back in because then he couldn't hear my mic. So I was just like, well, and sometimes that just happens with these live things. You just got to roll with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Professor P, do you need me to bring you my oil pump for the secret modifications you do? Sure, I guess. But typically, yeah, not a problem. I mean, just send it over, I guess. There's some things that I do, but I can't do all of it because I don't have your main cap. I usually bore and port the oil pump to the rear main, so that way they're the same. But if you bring the gasket, I'll usually do it to the gasket, so that way you can do it to the main on your end, or just watch the video on how I do it. It's literally that. But there are some secret things. Now, wait a second though. If I show it to you, then you're going to post it. Well, it's not like I'm harboring those things. There's just some things. There's some people out there that have actually started showing some of what they do to oil pumps, and maybe one day I'll show it. But it's just something that I picked up, and that's the difference between like your engine making say 420 and 450 horsepower. Literally is in the oil pump modifications and how long the oil pump lasts. It makes a huge difference.
We may have to.
What's that?
Oh, my device is getting a little low. It's been plugged in, but the live just takes so much battery. We may have to swap to our iPad at some point. No big deal.
Wheeler King says he's been 155 on one wheel, 142 on four wheels. You know,
that's a really fast unicycle.
Yeah, I can tell you that I was probably at about 155 or so because the bike would accelerate really fast, and so it probably came off the ground at some point. But I wasn't keeping track because I was trying to keep track of the road because it was in the desert. Yeah. One day I'll tell you guys about that. So I'm not sure the statute of limitations on how long those things last. What year are we in? 26. So that would have been in 16. Oh, it's 10 years. I'll tell you guys a little long what we used to do out in California. So and I don't want to ruin it for anyone else too if they're still doing this. So
common potatoes.
Race Model repeats saying when you're going that fast, you get the tunnel vision effect. Absolutely. Yes, I agree with that. Many of those devices are making people worse drivers. Yes, and here's the thing: is that because you're driving with boxing gloves and there's all this anti-skid, anti-lock, steering assist, all this stuff, traction control. People think that they can. I watch people and how they switch lanes, and you're like, whoa, like. Try to do that in a car that was built not in the 2000s, and you're literally just going to start spinning in circles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's see here. Okay. So yeah, so that is a Dodge Diplomat wagon. Actually, everything was called a Dart here. Okay, so it's a Dodge Diplomat. So yeah, that's what it was. Oh, we actually, what's funny is that my chat just updated and all of a sudden we're really far behind. So,
we've been behind for a while.
I honestly didn't know. I literally was just waiting for it to populate. I'm like, I'm literally right on the edge. I apologize, guys. Something must have happened. I have no idea. If you do the secret modifications on my oil pump, I won't post it. Yes, but you'll know about it. That's the difference. Because all you got to do is pop the 5 bolts off and look. So, yeah, yeah, I don't know. Think about this. One of my friends hit a cow in Texas on a bike and broke his leg and was still able to ride back to base. Wow.
Impressive.
Yeah. So once again, guys, I apologize for being far behind. It literally just updated. So I feel like I'm actually, man, I'm already up there. You guys don't have much tech today, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Tech out there. We got Tanner and Shelby here, man. We want to put them to the test right now. I almost called you guys husband and wife. We got a boyfriend, girlfriend duo here. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
she doesn't get that privilege to be called wife yet.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm doing wife shit on a girlfriend's salary. It's tough.
That's a good one. I've never heard that before.
I'm about to quit.
Dougster just pulled in. Thank you for joining us. Tonight we have Tanner and Shelby here.
Yeah, and we have no fear, for the Duckster is here.
Oh,
Potato,
right.
potato,
right.
potato, potato, potato.
He's the potato guy, right? He brings out the potatoes, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
him? Yeah.
I mentioned Duckster in my, which video was it?
One about the satellite. We was in the satellite.
It was in the satellite for it. No, it was one that came out this last Sunday. I forget what I was doing. I was doing exhaust work on my Reds, and I mentioned Duckster because we fired up my satellite, and I told him that car deserved that potato.
That's awesome. That's awesome. The first time I met him, I had seen him in the chat, but I'd never seen him, right? It was actually No Name Nationals. Dude walks over and hands me a potato, and I'm like, what's this? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I've never been just handed a potato like that before. And I think that's his little stick. And I think that's cool. You know, now I get it. I understand. But at the time, it was just like, I didn't understand what was going on.
So my first time meeting him, I was over there talking to him for forever, had no idea who he was. I walked off, and like 30, 45 minutes later, I came back. It's like, hey, I just found out who you are.
Yeah. You know what? Before I get to this one here, I'm going to back up to this one. But right here, I agree with indirect connection here. I can feel her eyes staring at you, Tanner. I'm telling you, right there, that little look right there, that was the dagger eyes. I'm telling you, I saw it.
Well, give it a couple months.
Yeah, I understand, man. I get it. Danny Boyd saying, I'm a mechanic. Today I took apart a Whirlpool commercial washer all the way apart, but ain't figured out what's wrong with it yet. Second time I've used my drum nut wrench. You know, the only time I've ever used a drum nut wrench, I bought it at a pawn shop, was to take those out. I used to make fire pits out of those machines. Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people do that. They make really nice fire pits.
They work great because they have holes all the way around them. And then that little pin that comes up in the center, and they don't drop any ash. I used to weld on 3 rebar stands on it. And then that way too, once you do a first burn off on them and you get rid of all that paint, then you could just take a regular Coleman grill that you could get anywhere, set it right on top, cook your burgers, and then take it right back off. That was like the perfect desert fire pit, because you couldn't have a fire pit in the ground in the desert, at least in the wetlands. So that was like a perfect thing. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, I still think that's great.
Yeah. I saw that. It made me laugh pretty good.
Shelby's is in talks with the Teamsters to unionize. That's funny. She wants better pay.
I'm putting in my 2 weeks.
Right.
I did actually just get a new job, and I only drive like 2 miles from your house?
It's about 3 from here.
Okay, yeah, like
maybe 3.5.
That's the best commute ever. I bought this house specifically so I didn't have to get on a freeway, which you guys call interstates here, but for me, a freeway. 2, I didn't want to drive over 15 miles to work. I didn't want to do that. And 3, I didn't want traffic. I dealt with California traffic. In fact, we didn't judge by how far things were. We judged by how many hours it took to get there. That's literally what it was. And it didn't matter if it could be across town. You're like, hey, man, I gotta yeah, I got an hour. I got to be home. It's like I just don't want to do any of that anymore. So
Where I want to work, I can walk through the woods right over here, go to the next street, and then walk like an 1/8 mile and be there.
See, that's perfect. That's awesome.
I ain't got that job yet. I'm waiting on my dad to retire, but I'm gunning for it.
So Colleen's saying I got a rental. I got rear-ended and increased my road rage 200%. All the warning buzzers. Yes, I know there's a car next to me. That's why I'm turning my effing blinker on. Yes, that's another thing too. Is like this thing's got these little warnings in the side mirrors that turn these little orange like triangles.
My car does that.
Ambulances do it too. The ambulance is worse because one of those trucks, you turn on the blinker and there's this big screen that just shines bright at you. And when it's the middle of the night, it'll just all of a sudden shine real bright and it blinds you.
Yeah. So Miss Catchy's asking, Shane, did you mention a 400 foot-pound kit for the World T5s? Yes, the World Class T5. There's actually a kit out there. I've never tested this, but there's not just one, not just two, but there's many guys out there that actually put these things together, and they say there's a 400 horsepower, a 400 foot-pound of torque kit for these. And I think it has to do. It's a whole gear set that you buy, and if you look at them, they're much bigger and wider gears, and the helix on them is less, so they're going to be noisier. But there's 100% that, and then the gear ratio is a much tighter gear ratio. It's made for people who road race. But yeah, there is one out there for that. In fact, I have so many of these T5s now. I bought. If you're ever going to switch to a T5 and you're going to build it yourself, get at least 2 or 3 of them, because I've had to use parts from all these to make one work without having to buy all this crap on eBay. Door is a goddamn. Oh yes, right. Here's another one too. Your door is.
Yes.
I know that.
Your door is up. Yes, I know the door is open.
Oh, my kicks will make you check the back seat before it'll let you like clear the screen to get out of the car. Because like I guess people forgetting their kids. It says check rear seat for articles or something like that on the screen.
Wow.
So here's one for the masses here. Okay, what's the best do-it-yourself things that you can do for stock 452 heads on this 400 Mopar? Don't want to put a lot of money into them, but wouldn't mind putting some labor into them from now. What is yours before I tell you mine? Do you have any do-it-yourself stuff?
So, whenever it comes to porting cylinder heads, I take a lot of inspiration from David Vizard. And his biggest thing, he always says, what's the greatest restriction? It's not what you think. It's the intake valve. The valves are the greatest restriction. Getting the air to go around the valve is the best way to increase airflow on a stock cylinder head. Right. So I go for bulwark, and if I can get it, I'll get that 5-angle valve job, which is the same as if you're going with any regular valve job. It's just a different cutter.
I agree with that. In fact, on my Slant 6s, the first thing that I do is I take the heads and I back cut the valves. I literally just back them. I just put them in a drill press, and I have a little Dremel, and I literally just cut that back cut off. I clean up the bowl. I clean up the throat. I don't do more than that. That's it. And 142 CFM is factory for a stock Slant 6 as far as on the intake side. You can usually get to about 162 or 165 in that realm for that on a stock valve. Anything beyond that, now there's people who are going to come after me, oh, you can get way more than that. Yes, but I'm telling you, for doing a 10-minute job, you can pick up 20 CFM. It's worth it to me. You can get up to about 188 CFM by doing a lot more stuff. But back to the Mopar stuff, 452. Yes, Clint, what you're going to want to do is find these porting templates. They're on the internet nowadays. There's got to be someone out there who has the templates that you cut out. I used to have the templates, and I was going to give some to Ron. I can't find them, but they're these little plastic templates, and you put them in at different areas, and you literally port the heads to the template. and it made a world of difference. I had some 452 heads on my 400, and I think my dart went like the Cookie Monster went like a 13 something. I ported it out and I got into the 12s just by porting my heads. It made that much of a difference, and it makes a huge difference. And I did the back cut on the valves. So if there's something you do, find those templates, and there's got to be there's got to be someone who just cut it out with paper and then put it onto some cardboard paper. And people with 3D printers nowadays, I'm telling you, you could just take that template, put it into a 3D printer and make them. And then it's literally simple. And I had them for W2s, I had them for 452s, and I had them for small block Mopars. So that's what I would do.
That would be really neat to do with the 3D printer. I like that idea.
Yeah. I've actually been trying to find them again, so that way I could scan them and then sell them again. And now someone's going to take that idea and sell it. I don't care. Woff, if you're Chris Wozniak, if you're listening and you want some 3D printer stuff, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to text it to you after this. Find those templates, print them off, and resell them, because I'm telling you right now, there's people like us who want grassroots racing. They don't have a lot of money nowadays because everything's super expensive, and they want to just maybe go half a second faster. And it literally porting your 452 heads will do that on a 400. But the big thing you got to do, Clint, is get that compression up on that 400, because I think those things are like 8-1. Because
I measured mine. My 400 that's in that scamp, whenever I pulled the heads off, I CC'd the heads, I measured the compression height, and it was completely stock pistons. The bottom end had never been apart. It was factory bore. They were 118 thousandths in the hole. With a standard, Velcro rebuilder type head gasket, it came out to 7.7 to 1.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. And that was with an 87cc cylinder head, because those had actually been skimmed at one point.
You know that your Slant 6 factory is about 180 in the hole.
Yeah. Don't remind me of that.
And it gets worse too, because they come with 20,000 metal shims, and when you go to a 39,000 gasket, when they rebuild them, they actually make less power. So that's the reason why I tell people just deck 100 thousandths off. Either pick the head or the block. Take 100 thousandths off of it, and at least start there. I'll take 150 off of. So I'll take 100 off of one, 50 off the other, and that usually gets you right in that 9-1 compression range with a 39 thousandths gasket. With Speed Pro pistons, and the Speed Pro pistons are even farther in the hole than factories. So, terrible. Mexican Spec said he moved from County to Las Vegas. It took him 3 years before he used freeway there. It was ingrained in me not to use a freeway. Exactly. That's exactly right. It's because when you're in LA, have you ever been to the West Coast at all? Have you ever been to LA or Tanner at all? Or
the only West Coast area I've been is whenever I was driving back from Aberdeen, so Washington and down into Portland area, going down I-5 into Portland.
Yeah. Okay. LA is literally the absolute gridlock capital of the world for when it comes to traffic on the freeway. It is the worst. It is absolutely the worst. In fact, I think the 10 freeway that crosses it through LA County, it's considered the most traveled and used part of the freeway in the United States. I believe it used to be at one point in the Guinness Book of World Records. Don't know if it's still there. But I'm with him on this. The last thing you want to do at all is get on the freeway in LA at any time of the day. Only if it's like super like late, 10 o'clock at night, then you can get on there. But other than that, don't even. I just don't even want to look at that at the West Coast. In fact, since I've moved here, I've had no desire to go back to the West Coast at all. And I think my company's going to send me back to the foundry sometime maybe next month, and I'm loathing it because I just. So there was actually one up here too that I skipped over, but it was actually Dougster said, "Who is this super nice kind of weird guy who just handed me a potato?" That's him. Yeah, that was it. Is there anything here that you say? Levi said, Shane, I sent you a small update on the heifer. It's ugly, but it should work well. Okay, that was you. So he sent me a text. We're going to go full Mr. John Wilburn here. I'm going to. Do you mind if I share this? Well, he probably sent it so that way. So he basically has most of the wiring done. That's the heifer with the wiring in the floorboard there. So Dylan's getting ready to convert some fuel into exhaust here soon. So I'm happy because some of those Triple Crown cars. You know what? I got to tell you, the last time at the Triple Crown car racing, your car was probably one of my favorite, and here's why: is me and Dallas were standing there watching you drive that car down the track, and watching you grab the gears, and I said, Dallas, he's having the time of his life right now in that car, and he goes, I am so jealous, and I said, I am. And he goes, I need to get this Buick going. I said, yes, you do. I said, I'm going to make my car stick shift. In fact, I think you inspired both of us. That's the reason why we're both bringing stick shifts back, because me and Dallas talk about it way too much, how much we love driving and racing our stick shift cars. And watching you just in there, just, it was awesome.
I'm flattered.
It was awesome, man. And if anyone, did you do any in-car camera with that?
Yeah. There's only one race at No Name that I didn't get in-car footage of, and that's just because my camera didn't get turned on. But every other pass I made, yeah, I filmed it. So my video has a bunch of random clips of me going down the strip.
I watched one where you raced Jamie. I think this is his name, Jamie.
Yeah.
And he was in the left lane. You're in the right lane. You were right there. If he just didn't get the jump on you, like he did the jump, but you were right there the whole time, it seemed like. At least what
I don't have the time slip memorized, but I do remember that the mile an hour, I was about 2 mile an hour behind him.
Okay.
He 60-footed the crap out of me because, I mean, you saw that Barracuda, bam, out of the hole every single time, and it popped the wheels up again in second. But if I had the traction to really get out of the hole and I wasn't feathering it, it would have been a really, really close race.
Yeah. I'm telling you, we're back on the 5-speed. Here goes Fab Race Mod Repeat says, I want a 5-speed with straight cut gears for my Fairlane. The gear wine will drive everyone nuts but me.
Exactly.
Who cares about everyone else? And that's the whole thing. Is, I live in a town that's kind of uppity, like they're, pinkies high. I'm the one who devalues everything because they all have their nice BMWs and their Mercedes. I drive that Lizard King, and I'm telling you right now, this, your dad shows, everyone else has got this, and they show up, and then everyone's like, that cool car, that's so awesome. And then, this guy's got, his whatever, the Lambo or whatever is Ferrari. No one is even looking at that. They're looking at the 69 Mordor Dart that's kind of faded paint, so.
Yeah. Oh, the number of people that'll walk up at her car and just over that thing is insane. And it's just because it's an old four-door. Four-doors get more love nowadays than any other car I've noticed.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard, I ain't seen one of these in forever.
Yeah. I figured that out when I would say in the 2015 when I started looking for my daily, because the 2-doors were so expensive in California. They were like, $7-8 grand like they are nowadays, right? They were in like perfect condition. But I got the Lizard King for like $1,500 because it's a 4-door and there was just no rust on it, no nothing. And then we got the Beaver for like $1,200, I think, right? And that's an original car, like all original. We bought it off the original owner for like $1,200, and it was just because nobody wanted the 4-doors. Now, you could be driving a 2-door and people are like, whatever. But you drive up in a 4-door with all your kids in the back, you know what I mean? And you're like, go somewhere. They're like, that is the coolest thing ever. And you're like, that's right. That's why I do it.
Mine has won more awards than his.
So I even noticed that back whenever I first started driving my Satellite in about 2018. I'd drive around in that Satellite and then I'd go drive around in my 4-door Impala, 72 Impala. I would have so many more comments about that Impala than that Satellite because people would see the Impala and they just say, I grew up in one of those cars. That was my first car. That my mom had one of those. People connect with the 4-doors more than they connect with the 2-doors.
I agree with that. Fab Race Mod repeats saying that Dylan, his 400 measures out CC to 7.64 to 1 compression. Think about that, man. Yeah. So Miss Catchy's saying his former, she's saying that her former 318 was 120 in the bore with a big 7-1. Man, she went to 12 to 1 and does cackle. That's awesome. I'm telling you, man, I've seen them. I've seen slant sixes. I did a compression test on a rebuilt slant six one time, and the person who rebuilt this never did a slant six, and it was dead even across the board, but it had 110 pounds of compression on every cylinder because they barely decked it. They barely decked the block. They barely decked the head. They put 39,000 gaskets in it. They put Speed Pro pistons in it. They bored it 30 over. That thing was so far in the hole. There was no compression on it. And they put a camshaft in it. And then they, instead of like putting it like dot to dot, whatever, they got one of those where you could adjust it. And they retarded the cam 4 degrees that they thought, but since they changed the crankshaft, it was a later model. It already had the 4 degrees retard, so it was 8 degrees retarded camshaft. It was just a terrible, terrible POS. So
the keyway in the late model cash crank is 4 degrees retarded for the timing. Is that what you're saying?
Some of them are. Some of them are. I've actually seen them too, where they're. And what I think happened is that on the now there's always going to be these people who are going to come. I'm just telling you what I've found. I've got probably 10 cranks downstairs that follow this pattern. I've noticed that the forged ones are mostly advanced. They're about 4 to 6 degrees advanced on average. And how I've done that is I've put a stock, timing gear on there. I found where true TDC is at, right? And then I put it really comes down to the gear. Now when you start setting the timing on it, if I take a later model and it's got the tab on it, I've had to bend the tab to find true TDC. Then I put the gear on there, and then the gear is like not even close. So, just by doing that, and then if you know how to degree a cam, you can actually figure out what the cam is while it's inside the block. So I started doing that too, and that's really how I found that these things are just all over the place. But the cast ones were retarded, is what I found. I've only got one cast one downstairs, so I don't have a big metric of cast. I have one, but I have 10 of the forged ones downstairs.
Well, I'll be messing around with some of those cast ones eventually, so I'll try to get some of that metric and see what happens.
Richard's saying that that's why he let Tanner win. He was having too much fun to take that away from him.
Yeah, right.
I don't believe that for a second, because he's the one that drives the white truck, right? Was he the white?
Yeah. It like bogged on the line or whatever it was. He had a terrible 60-foot. His truck would have beat my car if he'd gotten off the line,
but he didn't.
He didn't.
Just like I would have beat that guy, the Intimidator, right? And that car, or the Instigator, whatever that car was. But when I pushed it into second gear, I didn't hit it hard enough, and it didn't engage, and I had to pull it back into second gear, and he was able to get around me. So yes, I would have beat him, but I didn't. So
yep, shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Yep. Tanner was the kid in the candy store. It was great. I agree. Watching that and watching you two in that car was like literally, it was like Friday night street racing with his dad's old beater that he had out back, and just no fucks given, just pulling gears. It was great. That was awesome.
You know what's great is whenever I got home the next day that I went to work, that's the car that I drove.
Even better. And that's why I want a car. That's why the Cookie Monster is awesome, right? I've had it for since the 90s. I love it. But there's me and Dallas keep saying it. I'm literally going back to this. I want a car that runs in the 12s or 11s that I can beat on and just drive it to the track, beat on it and drive it home, and just have fun doing that whole thing to where it's built. It's still overbuilt, but it can still kind of go fast-ish, but just have some fun with it, Yeah. Let's see right here. Did I say a Mean Street Mopar saying he's building a W2 318 with and a 4-speed, especially for Triple Crown, because Tanner said Tanner made it look like a blast. So think about that. Look at how many people you've already inspired. There's 3 right there.
Once again, I'm flattered. It I knew that I made an impact when, like, a couple weeks, maybe a month and a half after No Name Nationals, you and Dallas were talking about watching me go through, and it. Dallas said it made him feel like all choked up, like he was watching his kid, like just a
Yeah.
proud dad moment.
It was. I'm telling you, man, it was. I wouldn't say it like that for me. For me, it was, I put myself, I was able to live through your eyes again. And I know that feeling because I've been there. It was like right out of high school, like, 93, 94. And I had, my 70 Dart. And I was, I had a 4-speed in it. I was just out there racing people, just tearing people's ass in that car, and I loved it. It was so much fun, and I saw that with what you're doing, and it was a car just like that. It wasn't in perfect condition. It was kind of beat to shit, had some dents here and there. I got it. That's back when you could buy a $500 Dart. Think about that. You could buy a $500 car back then, and then work on it on a weekend, and then drive it all week, and then go street race it that Friday night and have fun, and be 14s. Maybe 15s, 14s, put some stuff into it, and then you're in the 13s and you're having fun. So let's see if there's anything else in here. Oh, yes. Once again, go check out our sponsor. And in fact, since we got a few people in here, I got one more thing to say. So Mr. Woff is actually putting on these things. He actually has a link for this. It's called a Track Buddy. It's at WAF Racing. If you go to WAF Racing, check it out. It's a Track Buddy. So what it is, I started messing around with it. It's normally when you go to the track, you have to put a piece of paper and you've got all this information you're putting in there. Well, now you can do it here. And what's cool about it is you can take your time slip, you put in your information, do the track, it does the DA and everything for you, and you can keep track of how your car's running. You can keep lists of what you need to bring to the track. And right now, if you put in code TB80, so TB80, it's right there. Take that right there. If you can see that, TB80. Take a screenshot of that. Yep. You get basically 80% off introductory discounts just for you guys. Nobody else gets that. So go check it out. Have some fun with it. It's really cool. If you want to go to the track and you want to learn, and there's no such thing as bad information. Keep all the information you can at the track. That way, when you come around it again, you'll know what to do. And that's the reason why I know what I know, is because I took notes when I was at my dynos building these engines. When I blew something up, okay, I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to do this. So information's key. Backyard, he doesn't have to start. I'm off to the generation where 4-doors right. I agree. I'm also part of that generation too, but I got to tell you, there's something cool about having a more-door Dart nowadays. I don't know. I refuse to settle for them too, but for a daily driver, I like the more doors. It's just my opinion.
I wish my stamp was a 4-door, honestly.
Really?
The red one, I would enjoy it much more as 4-door. The race car, I was kind of wishing that, back before I realized what the difference between a Scamp and a Valiant was, I was hoping for it to be a Valiant. I like the Valiants more.
But he won't trade me.
No, because the Valiant's hers.
Yeah, but I want your Scamp. Title for title.
Oh, that's
we should race for pink slips.
Hey,
I don't think that's how that works. I've got too much history.
If you ever lose it to her, though, just all you have to do to get it back is just marry her. Not wrong.
We'll see.
Not wrong. So Mexican spec saying that darts were always 100 to 250 and 500 was super nice. That's exactly right. But in California, for me, it was $500. And that was kind of like, that was something that had a 4-speed in it. But yeah, I agree with you, because they were just sitting on the side. Once they broke down, no one wanted to fix them anymore. So they just left them there. And it was just like, I used to pick up the Auto Trader and we would buy them, and that was that. Mean Street saying that I'm being optimistic, but I think 318 is going to make 500 horse. Absolutely, I've actually done that before. I believe I gave Andy basically my recipe for a 318 500 horse. It was with W2 heads. I'm not sure if they were the Econo or whatnot, but and the camshaft specs. Oh, Shelby, here, this is for you. Shelby, your YouTube name has Valiant in it. You should have to change your name. Too much trouble.
There you go. Hey, we're about to swap devices because my iPad's at like 5%. So
yeah, if you come in, I'll bring you in. Indirect connection, man. You're getting a lot of pressure to marry her. And he goes, Tanner, marry her, and then both cars will be hers.
I think it's funny how he just combined my YouTube name with his YouTube name.
All right, so you're up there. Can you hear me pretty good on that one?
Anyway, what was that?
You can hear me good?
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, I can hear you well.
Perfect. So it says, Tanner, marry her, and then both cars will be hers.
And the satellite. Well, no, that's in your dad's name.
It is technically my dad's name.
Dang. The satellite has my name on it.
It does. So my wheels, I noticed the other day, I was putting new tires on it after my big burnout, and my wheels are Shelby brand. And what's funny is she always says that her name is Shelby, like the car when she introduces people. She really means the Shelby Cobra. And I have Cooper Cobras on the car.
So it was fate, basically. Like, we were supposed to be together.
Right.
The satellite was telling him.
It just knew. It knew.
And that's my favorite car.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. I'm glad that you guys are both into it. My wife wasn't really into the car scene. She was only into the car scene because I was into it. But now she's, we've been married 26 years, almost 27 in coming up in August. So now she's grown to love them because, we have a stable of vehicles here. So
before I met him, I wanted to buy a classic car, and I had been putting money back, but I just didn't know what to get. And I was going to depend on my dad for help. But then I met him and I was like, I'm buying a Plymouth.
Yeah.
No brainer.
It was easy to convince because of how much extra parts I have. So, something with a small block Mopar, guess what? I already have 5 of them.
That's perfect. Mohawk 62 says he didn't care that T's Good Time Garage blew him away his very first time down the track in his Scamp. He had a blast. So
exactly.
That's exactly right. And I'm telling you, there's something to be said about that first time down the drag strip. Even me, I've been down the track 1,000 times or so, but still, it's like the first one for the weekend. You kind of get those little butterflies, making sure that you're all right. You sit in the car, you make sure you're pushing all the buttons correctly, and yeah. Now, did either one of you two live in a time where there was magazines before there was computers? To buy stuff. Did you guys ever live in that time?
I remember there being magazines.
Yeah, my mom ordered from QVC magazine and HSN.
And the TV programs and whatnot.
And Avon.
Okay.
Did she ever buy Mary Kay?
She didn't. She bought Avon. My car's name is Mary Kay.
There was 2 real big things in the West Coast. One was the Recycler, and the other one was like the Auto Trader. Everyone knows about the Auto Trader, but the Recycler was something that you could post in there, and it was really cheap. It was actually cheaper than the Auto Trader. So the Recycler came out, and you could get cars. Sometimes people were giving away free cars, and that's true because they just didn't want to just have them. They just drive them away. They were just an eyesore. Before Cars for Clunkers, I remember this. Mexican Spec says this. Shane, I always got the Recycler every Thursday. Darts were given away. 6 or 8, I didn't matter. Dusters were the same. It's exactly right. All the A-Buddies during that time were just given away. I remember tying a rope to a car, driving it to my friend's house because it was given to us for free. It's a true story. Could you imagine that back in those times, just getting this stuff for free?
Now people want like 20 grand for a Duster.
right?
or
Yeah.
more.
At the very least, I still managed to get a bunch of like engines and transmissions and stuff like that for free. I really don't have a whole lot invested into most of the parts that I have.
Yeah. One Eye Cat saying, Valiants, I've got a set of fraternal twins. Gurley Factory Slant 6 push button. The other got a fresh 440. It's coming to No Name Nationals once again. I believe that's the one that we broke in. Were you there when we broke that thing in?
So y'all broke that in before I got there.
Oh, okay.
I got there and then was hearing about a camshaft break in while I was breaking in a camshaft on another Valiant.
Right? You know, if I would have known that you guys were over there working on that guy's car on Friday night, was it Friday night or Thursday night?
Yeah, he showed up Friday night.
Okay. If I'd have known, me and Dallas would have been over there because we were doing nothing. We were just sitting over there. We didn't know any of that was going on at all. And we're always parked in the same spot. If you guys ever do that again, come and get us, man, because we live for that shit. We live for that shit.
Well, we'll try. I'll try to commission someone to come up with an engine that has no top end on it just for you.
Right.
Because that's what he did. He didn't even have cylinder heads on it when he got there.
Wow.
By the time I got back from eating dinner with a group I was with, there was already cylinder heads and an intake on it, and they were trying to like get everything else situated.
Yeah. Here's another one too that I didn't remember. The penny saver. That actually would come out in the newspaper, so you could get the penny saver, and it was basically delivered to your house. And it was a bunch of coupons in there, and then there was also cars for sale in that too. Some of them free. Just come and take it away. Yeah, those were the days, man. I'm telling you, that was really good stuff. And then when they started crushing cars, that's when the price of like all these cars were like they were getting like $1,500 or $5,000 for a car in California, and they were literally just crushing them. They would just pull them in. Here's your money. Take it off the road and just crush it. So that's what killed a lot of these things.
Mm-hmm.
Took a little win against a race car. Okay, so any given Sunday, Tanya won against T's son because he redlit. Her 170 slant took the win against his race car. That's a pretty good.
Mm-hmm. So that's the car that I was telling you about. I think it was yesterday where she was bam hitting third gear, just out there, 3 on the tree.
Yeah, she actually showed up too, and we rebuilt the Holly 1920 right there in the pits. She was having problems with the boggin. I was like, "Oh man, let's fix that." So we got it running, and as soon as it got running, because I could tell that she was not really having fun. But once it got that pump shot, and she was actually really ready to grab gears, I just watched her just make laps down the track in that car, just one after another after another. It was awesome. That's another person I watched get hooked on racing that weekend. Oh man! Oh, so Bigfoot's in Mopar is saying that when he was 14, almost bought a '73 Duster for $400. It was originally Slant 6 car, but it had a 318 swapped into it. I'm telling you, man. So we're getting close to. It's about 8 minutes before we're done here. Do you have any videos coming up? What about you, Shelby? Because I went to your channel. There was only 2 videos, lots of shorts, but only 2 videos.
I have one coming out on Saturday.
Awesome.
So since I just got a new full-time job, I think I'm going to try to do every other Saturday a video come out because I got to sit down and edit it and put all the clips together. And like I work from 7 to 4, and like by the time I get home, I'm like tired. So I'm just going to try and do every other weekend.
Yeah. If you watch some of my stuff, I'm telling you, you get better at it. And so that way you learn how to talk about it, and that way beginning to end, so that way you can just import all the videos, put them up in your thing, and then have your little intro and be done editing in about 40 minutes. Literally posting it takes longer than editing. So
The video
Sometimes
is
that's right.
we're comparing his Scamp to my Valiant, like all the different things on it.
Yeah, just talking about the different trim package level, 2-door versus 4-door car.
that's awesome.
What is mine? That's what it was. My next video, I need to edit it, but I have all the footage for it, is this last Saturday, we pulled my satellite into this shop. I installed a line lock, and went out to a burnout competition and burned the crap out of my tires. So it's got some good tech as to like installing the line lock and bending up the lines, and then it just evolves as I'm rushing to get to the event.
That's awesome.
I put the fan on by myself.
Yeah. So I had her take the mechanical fan that I've had on the race scamp. I had her take that mechanical fan off and put it on the satellites. So that way, while I'm doing the burnout, it wouldn't overheat because I didn't have a fan on it at all.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Have you guys now? When you guys do your electric fan, are you putting on a switch or on a relay, and how you switching it?
So whenever I do have electric fans, I'll have a switch underneath the dash, but it turns on a relay that's fused.
Yeah. What I've actually started doing is I've used the ground. I switch a ground on the relay. So like they'll sell a thermostatic switch that just goes into your head. You know, 190, 195. If you have a 180 thermostat, and I'm telling you that is the best thing. And then I still put it on the switch, so that way it's got to go from the relay through the switch. So that way you can kind of turn it on and off as you need. And then I've also done it too, where it runs either the switch or the mechanical switch that you control. So either one will turn it on. So if one goes bad, you just turn the switch on. So that way it'll always turn on no matter what. So something I've done. It's just a good backup, you know. And another one that I do too is on the starter relays. Oh God, I can't believe I'm telling this. I'll put on the ground switch that goes normally to the transmission. I'll put it on a plug. So when I go to the track, I can unplug it, plug it in, so that way it operates just like a neutral safety switch. But then when I'm not at the track, I unplug it and I plug it in, so that way I can start it up no matter what, because always those neutral safety switches will fall out, and they will fall out when it's wet outside and it's raining out, and you can't start your car because you got to plug that thing back in. So just do a backup underneath there, and then since they're like on the 60s models, it's right next to the battery tray, so you can hide the plug underneath the battery tray, so that way you can pull it out and plug it to which one you need. Just little tip I've done.
Well, don't have to worry about that when you swap to a manual.
Exactly. Well, yes, you know, and then but I'm still gonna put a clutch, clutch switch on there too. So that way it has to be in to start it, because the S10 that I have doesn't, the shaft doesn't have a neutral safety switch V cut into it, so it's got a reverse light. But so I'm just going to have a clutch set up on it. So, and then I know I'm going to be the only one driving it, so I know neutral, clutch, start.
I don't like to use my clutch whenever I start my manual cars, just because I don't want to wear on the thrust surface.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. In fact, it's funny you say that, because I'm literally taking apart my Slant 6 because it's got an automatic setup that I normally run in there. I drill a hole on the thrust side to put high pressure oil onto the thrust bearing. So I'm going to show how to do that. So plus I'm going to do some other stuff too. I've had that engine built since 2016. It's got 50,000 miles on it, and I beat the crap out of it, and I turn it 4,000, sometimes 3,000 RPM for 24 hours when I drove it to Tucson and back. So yeah, it's got some time on it, and I'm just going to do a little freshen up on it. I'm going to keep the pistons. I'm just going to do the old dingle ball hone, probably throw some rings in it, put some bearings in it, send it. Yeah, and other than that, man, we're getting down. Thank you guys for coming down. Shelby, thanks for being part of it. You went off camera for a little bit, and I could tell you were nervous, but
I don't know a lot of techie stuff, and so I'm like, I don't know if I should do it, but
everybody's at a different point. It's totally good, and no one's going to put you on the spot. Like when we had Riley on here when she did the carburetor rebuilds, no one's going to try to beat their chest. We're all part of the same family here, and everybody's at a different point in their automotive career building journey, let's call it. So we're all here to help each other. So yeah, don't worry about that. No one's gonna, even if you don't know the answer, no one's gonna make fun of you. That's
I try to listen to him and soak up everything he says.
She's good at it.
That's good. My daughter Roxy, that you probably, if you've come to some of the shows, she's always there. to No Name Nationals. She's the first one to ever rebuild a carburetor without me helping her. Out of all my kids, she was the first one to do that. So
Nice.
it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Anyways, I think with that, let's say, yes, I agree. You might have to have these two back sometime. They weren't too bad. Yes, we'll have you guys as guests. And you know what? Actually, this is probably something that you guys can do this yourselves too, man. Do some lives, and then have some guests come in there. Me and Dallas will always come in there, and if you guys will decide to do it, we'll have you guys back sometime.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the opportunity to be on here and talk to all these fine folks for the evening.
And if you guys,
Yeah, thanks for letting me on too.
you guys go ahead and plug your shows, your channels. Go ahead real quick.
So of course, I'm Tanner with Vintage Adventurer Drives. I'm sure everyone here knows that. And my lovely girlfriend here who really wants to be my wife but has to wait some time. Go ahead and say yours.
Valiant Adventure 1973.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And obviously, you guys know me. They gave me the nickname Professor P. I don't come with that stuff. That was Dallas who gave that. Slant Day of the Garage. But once again, I will not be here next week. I'm going to take some time off. While Dallas is still on vacation, I wanted to do at least one. I'm glad to have them on here. So thank you guys. And we will see you guys in 2 weeks. And from then, you guys have a great week. And you guys take it easy. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.